to Walsall Fan TV fan chat, our first fan chat of the season. We're talking pre-season. Stephen's here with us, and we've also got some new guys in the show. So let's welcome Phil. Hi, Phil.
Hi, Simon.
Welcome, Neil.
Evening.
And of course we've got Lee and Daz as well. And Jack is with us. He's just coming back on. Where is he? He's just a bit. Here he is. And we got Jack as well. So welcome back to Jack. Right then. So first of all, let's go straight to Daz. Squad building. So what are you thinking of it so far?
So I think we've had a good few weeks. I think they didn't go early with their announcements. They've obviously had a plan and they're working through the plan. I think it'd be a slightly different story if we hadn't got Johnson, but they've had a good start to pre-season. Yeah.
We were a bit worried, weren't we? Because we hadn't heard anything. It was like, are we going to get any players or not? The whisper is that we've got another 4 or 5 coming, but I think they're likely to be squad fillers. I think perhaps. Lee, what's your thoughts on the squad so far? Let me just bring up the screen if I can do this. Hang on a second. This is where I'm trying to share my screen and do that sort of stuff. Hang on.
Do clever stuff.
Yeah. Get in there a minute. Window, that one. Has that come on yet? Hang on.
Yeah, but you need to
bring here we go.
There. Oh, hey, we're getting flash now, aren't we? Right, and then I say flash to a point, isn't it? Really. Let's
There we go.
There we go. So, Lee, what's your thoughts on what we got there then?
Well, I think the signings we've made so far have been good signings, but I think the signing of today of Daniels extending his contract till 2025 is even more of a statement, if you like, because I think Trevella are looking a little bit more long term, willing to sort of offer at them longer contracts. And obviously there was a few rumours about Daniels might be going off and he might not be here. Obviously, he sat down, signed the contract for the next 2 years. So he must be happy with what Trevella and Sadler are saying behind closed doors. And he must think Walsall have got a chance of, I'm not saying getting promoted this season, but he must think over the time of his contract, they've got a good chance of being a League One team, or else he wouldn't, at his age and the stage he's in his career, he wouldn't have committed to the 2 years extension, would he?
No, it's we knew he'd got another year, hadn't he? So for him to extend that does show a lot of confidence. Jack.
Oh, sorry.
I was going to go to Jack.
Yeah.
There we go. The mix of the squad now. Where do you think we need to be adding to that in these next 4 or 5 players? Perhaps we might be bringing in.
We could do with some experience, an experienced midfielder. I mean, we've been good windows so far, but we need 2 more midfielders, perhaps, and possibly 1 aging striker, just as like a filler.
We've got an aging striker, that's Jamil Batty.
Yeah, but he'll still bang in 15 goals. You need someone who'll come in and bang, 5 when needed.
Yeah.
We need a few more in the midfield, because it's like...
Yeah, I think up front, if Jamil Matt was to get injured again at the moment, I think that would weaken the squad a lot, I think.
Well, we've got Knowles who can play there, so...
Yeah, Knowles is a good one as well. Neil, any ideas for a centre midfield experienced guy to steady the ship?
I think the problem is at the moment, I've got no idea looking at that squad what formation he's going to play.
The formation, you've got a point there.
And the thing is, he's got Matt up front. He's obviously looks like he's going to play a big one up front. We haven't got another big one is the main problem. So probably somebody to cover for Matt if anything happens to him. Wide. wide men might be a little short there.
We've got Knowles, I guess.
Yeah.
Knowles is kind of the only one. Maybe
Knowles
And
is
the
a
back-
bloke
the
who will
back's
fill in
fine, there's no
everywhere.
problem there.
yeah.
Just to fill. I think obviously the defensive wise, we've certainly got to grips with it, haven't we? I think we had a good defence to start with, and we've strengthened it, so that's good.
Yeah.
But is midfield where we're going to struggle? You think?
Yeah, I'd agree that midfield certainly needs strengthening. I think there's a few following on from what Neil's just said as well. I think there's a few interesting questions about formation and where certain players might play. McKenty is one that I know you've discussed before. Obviously, I've seen him do a job at centre half, and then I also thought did a very good job in midfield last game of last season. Joe Riley, do we see him more as a right back, a right wing back, or a midfielder? I think there's a few questions to be asked there. Knowles as well. If we play a 3-5-2 formation, where does he fit in that formation? So I think there's a few. It's going to be interesting to see how they line up and to see where he fits certain players in. It's good that we've got players that are versatile, and certainly I do think that the two additions we've made to defence look good signings. Hussey played 30 odd games in the team that got in the playoffs last year. I had a look on the Newport fans forum. Their fans were pretty unanimous in their disappointment at him leaving and not signing a new contract. So it looks like we've got a player there that was a big part of their defence last year. And obviously we've got Rolling back as well, although I think he'd be more of a backup player.
He's still injured, I think, isn't he?
Oh, is he? I'm not
He's
sure.
still injured.
And certainly reiterate what Lee said earlier about, the very good news today about Donovan Daniels extending his stay. Yeah. So we have got a solid base to build from. But yeah, I think particularly with the Jack Earing injury as well, and the relative inexperience of Sturk and Ram, players like that, midfield is certainly an area that I think we could do with strengthening.
Yeah, well, I'll just put up a quick comment.
Yeah, I think... midfield. I've just got a Walsall fan Dan here, looking more positive now, although we definitely need a bit more creativity in midfield. Yeah, I think as cams, having Hutch with Ram as a backup, that is potentially leaving us very light. And I think we've all got confidence that Ram's going to be a good player for us, but you wouldn't want to be going into the season expecting him to play 30-odd games.
Oh, no.
So I think...
You think it could be wise to send him on loan?
Development a bit, but I think we need another cam.
Yeah, it could be wise to send him on loan to National League.
No, because
No.
you get pushed around too much, you'll get injured.
No, I think he's got to be in the building. I think that's going to be in the building.
Yeah, I mean, if we bring in like an experienced cam, maybe that might work better because then he can build up Hutch and Ram at the same time and improve both the development. So
yeah,
just an idea.
Who's mentioned the dirty word of loanee as well? There's always a possibility.
Well, I'll tell you, this is just slightly off subject. Why are we only playing 3 pre-season games?
Well, Simon, that's the 3 pre-season games we get to go and see. Don't forget they'll be playing pre-season games behind closed doors. They won't just have 3 games. They've probably got the 3 games we're going to, and there'll be at least another 3, if not 4, that'll be behind closed doors or at the training ground.
Yeah, because we had a good trip to Telford last season. That was a bit nice to go back there. That was.
You did.
Oh, I did, yeah. Yeah, difficult one. I think
everybody's going from one to Ireland now, aren't they?
Say again, Neil.
I think everybody's out for a trip to Ireland now, aren't they, with Tregeena?
I don't know. Is that right? They're all going to Ireland?
Well, people hope so, because Chivella brought a stake in.
Is it Drogheda? Is it?
Oh, Drogheda. Oh, but yeah.
Maybe
that's where Ram will go.
I think it's Georgia or something.
Something like that. I know I haven't pronounced it properly.
Some Irish pronunciation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think up front, as I say, if we don't bring any more strikers in, I think we'd be short. I think Marv looks like he'll need a loan somewhere. Playing level 9 last season, it would be a massive step up for him to be getting a lot of minutes.
What do we all think of the re-signing of DJ Taylor, because he's probably the one that I'm not sure about in the players that we've signed. I get that he's young and that he's still got some developing to do, and obviously Matt Sadler sees him as a player that he can develop. But I personally didn't see a lot in him last year. I think he's got a lot of improvements to make if he's going to be a reliable squad member. I just wonder what other people think about that particular signing.
Yeah, go to Daz for that answer on that. I've got some thoughts, but I'll go listen to everybody else first.
I come from a different place to Phil on this. I saw a bit last year that he got something. He's right. Phil's absolutely bang on. There's a lot of work to do with him. But you would have said exactly the same thing about Elijah. At the same point, there was a lot of work to do with Elijah, and he clicked one day. And I think James Taylor was worth a punt he's going to be third striker. I think he was worth a punt.
Anyway, you'll have to excuse me for a moment. The late takeaways arrived.
Okay, Neil.
I'll be back shortly.
Lee, what's your thoughts on that?
I'm pretty much the same with Daz, because I think the bits we did see, he showed enough, but obviously he's sort of that rough diamond, and if we get to see him more minutes on the pitch, be able to judge him a bit better. I think there's a stat floating about that actually after DJT's goals per minute is the best, isn't it?
That's correct. I think later on in the season, when Wilco came back, when Wilco came back, Wilco's goals per minute sort of surpassed DJT's. But previous to that, he had been one of our most prolific finishers.
And I think, I think just a little bit of difference what he's got compared to Matt and DJ is his pace, obviously, with him being at his age. I think he's got that pace. He's a bit raw. Will that benefit us? I mean, if you're a centre half, would you want him running at you for the final 15, 20 minutes of a game? And you've also got to concentrate either on Matt and DJ as well. I think that could be the key going into the season. Him coming on for those final 15, 20 minutes with his raw pace and just running at defenders and helping out DJ or Matt to get that bit more extra space for him.
Just ask Carlisle at the end of the cup.
What do you think, Jack? Sorry.
I didn't like it.
You don't like him?
No. I just asked Carlisle in the second round of the cup for the last 15 minutes of his pace.
And we've lost your sound a little bit there. We need to look at that. My thoughts on Douglas James Taylor, it sort of reminds me in some ways of Michael Ricketts back in the day, because quite often he's in the right place and he doesn't finish.
That's more like Knowles, isn't it?
And a little bit like Knowles, I suppose. But I mean, the wherewithal to get into the right place is one thing, and then finishing something else. So I think we'll see more goals from him this season. I think as Daz says, I think he'll be third choice striker. Depending who else comes in, he might even be fourth choice striker. But he's a developing player, and I think well worth a punt. I understand what you're saying, Phil.
I think they're all fair points that people have made. I was just interested to know what people thought. I mean, and I say Matt Sadler obviously sees something there to work with. I do completely agree with a few points that were made that he was underused last season. I'd have liked to have seen more of him. I know that he got the goal against Carlisle, and I think, was it Stockport he scored against? Was it
Mansfield?
Mansfield, yeah.
Mansfield.
The New Year's Day game, he did take that goal very well, I thought. So, yeah, as I say, I remain, but I nothing would give me greater pleasure than to be proved wrong on him, and I really hope he does come good.
What's particularly nice is the fact that he's our player now. We're not developing somebody else's player.
Yeah, that will help.
So that's a positive for me.
And he
I want to talk about...
has got experienced strikers in Danny Johnson and Matt to work with.
Yeah.
So
he's going to learn from those. I think what you mentioned about Riley, if Riley came into the midfield with Stirk, I think we're losing a bit. We lost a bit of physicality there. I think we haven't got any height, and I think Walsall teams in the past have suffered there by not having that physical presence, and that's why it was too good to see McKenty. But whether McKenty stays in the midfield or not, I don't know whether you saw the Twitter post from Walsall calling him the maestro, which would perhaps infer midfield, but you never know whether that's a smoke and mirrors or what. I don't know.
He wasn't inside.
Go on, Jack. Speak up, mate.
He was insane when he played in midfield. He was easily one of the most impressive midfielders we've had for the whole of that season in those 3 games.
In McKenty, I mean, your mic's doubling up a bit. I need headphones on or something, I think.
Right, give me 2 seconds.
That's it. You sound like you're in a bath. I mean, we've been there before with that. We've got a leaking door that. So just thinking goalkeepers. Owen Evans, obviously our first choice keeper. Do we save some money and get a young backup keeper, or do we need an experienced guy there? What your thoughts? Go to Phil first.
I think ideally you want somebody that's going to challenge Owen Evans for the position. I think Evans was certainly one of our better players last year, but didn't really have a lot of competition. But then I think you've got to balance that with the budget in terms of there's probably other areas of the squad where we could use the budget to buy more expensive, more experienced players to strengthen other areas. But in an ideal world, we would certainly want a backup goalkeeper that's going to challenge Owen Evans.
Yeah. Daz?
Agree. He does need challenging, but the budget is a significant chapter. I think what we did last year with was it Jackson Smith? Walsall worked really well. He came and gave us cover, and then when he came in, he proved he was capable. He got some game time, and we didn't spend too much. So that kind of arrangement worked really well, and I'm not averse for that again.
Yeah, I think it's easy to waste money on players, isn't it? And I think we've done that before. I think if we just look to here, can you just click that thing? On there, we're looking based on the information we got, which we don't know whether it was 100% true or not. But we've effectively released about £16,500 a week from the budget. And my crazy estimates reckon at the moment we've spent about 10k. But within those, James Taylor, we're already paying for him. And Danny Johnson, till January, we're already paying for him as well. So arguably, there might be some left over. Sibek, of course, was in the budget to start with. So I think we've probably got, without increasing the budget from last season, and I think that's key, we've probably got room for 4 in the sort of around about £1,500 a week bracket, which is decent quality. Not sort of top quality players, but I mean decent quality. So we'll have to see what transpires from that. I don't think Walsall should be overdoing the budget. I think even though we've had some good players come in, I don't think the budget's particularly been increased. I think we're just using it better, I think. Thoughts, Lee?
It's always hard sort of trying to work out what the actual budget is and what we spent, because nobody really knows, do we? I mean, you can have a good guess and you can have a look at certain websites and everything, but you never know for sure, do we? I just think at the moment, probably the players we have got in have been an upgrade on the player on maybe the majority of the players that have left. So whether we've spent a little bit more money or we've spent a little bit less money, I don't know, to be honest with you.
No.
I think only time will tell, and if it gets us sort of within the top 10 of League Two, then
all good. If we're below again next season and we have a bit of a, I won't say disaster, but we don't really improve, then people start mentioning the budget again, won't they?
Yeah, I think that sort of, it does get mentioned too much, really, I suppose. Carlisle had got one of the lowest budgets in the league, and they got promoted. So
Yeah.
it's not all about the budget, is it?
No.
It's all about the budget. Do you want to just grab a couple of the comments? Ian Allen, DJT, couldn't hit a barn door, misses too many. That sort of echoes to what I was saying with that. He's getting in the right place. So I think with that, Ian, I think the goals will come. I think the goals will come with that. Neil, glad to have you back with us. Have you had a nice tea?
Yeah, actually, he did a little faster than I'd like to.
So the budget-wise, we're just talking about the budget.
The budget, the one thing you've got to remember as well, you can't really compare budgets between clubs in the division because they all calculate the playing budget in different ways. They include different things in it or exclude different things, and it's very, very difficult to compare. Sort
of like the academy and that sort of thing.
Yeah. Or some will include travel to games, some will exclude travel to the games as being in the playing budget, that sort of thing. It's a minefield trying to work it out.
Yeah. So of the young, if we look at the young guns that are coming through, obviously Timmy Abraham didn't work out. He's gone to Boreham Wood, hasn't he now? Yeah. So I suppose Marv is the replacement for him. Joe Folks, nice to see him in the squad. But he's going to be back up. I don't know how much game time he's going to get.
Can I just say on Joe Folks, while you've mentioned him, I went to see one of the Kidderminster playoff games at the end of last season, and I was impressed with how he played. Obviously watched him quite closely, knowing he was on loan from us, and he looked physically stronger than he did the previous time I'd seen him. He defended well, and I thought he got forward to quite good effect as well. He looked a far better player than he did when I saw him a year or so ago. So I think the loan spell's done him the world of good, and it'd be interesting to see how much he is involved next season. I think obviously see how he gets on in pre-season will be a good measure for that. But he impressed me the game I saw him play. It was only one game, granted, but I was impressed with him.
Yeah, good.
Simon, just to follow up on what Phil said there, you remember a certain loan we had last season who came into the club, and before he came to Walsall, I don't think he played many games. He didn't turn out too bad, did he?
No, he's good. I think Joe Folks, I think it's one of those. We'll see what game time he gets.
Well, exactly. But
what I'm liking now, you look at the squad that we've currently got, and whether we're playing 3-5-2, 3-4-1-2, or 4-4-2, you can't easily name the side, can you?
No, but I think, like Phil just mentioned, I think that loan for the last 2 seasons to Kidderminster probably done Joe Folks a world of good, because I don't know the exact number of games he's played over the 2 years, but I think it's something like between 60 and 70 games where he's been playing football. He's got that experience. Obviously, Kidderminster, where they finished, they had to win, was it like sort of 5 or 6 games to get through the playoffs, and then obviously to get themselves promoted, and he was part of that. I think all that is a great experience for a kid of his age. I mean, it's almost, you can't get that experience anywhere else, could you? And he's been in that winning mentality in a team that have won, and I think that sometimes gives you more than training does.
Yeah, I'm
confidence starts to flow, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't stay with Kidderminster. His contract was up. He could have stayed with Kidderminster. So I think that's really good that Walsall sort of kept that contact and got him signed up, because he could have easily gone to Kidderminster after years with them.
He could have done, Simon, but
Who's more likely to get for League One football, Walsall or Kidderminster?
Well, exactly, yeah. But it's
Kidderminster.
game time, isn't it? It's game time. Sorry, go on, Daz. Is that what you were saying?
Kidderminster.
You behave yourself, you naughty man. What are you saying that for? There's one player in the comments. I did do a video that sort of included him. Jake Livermore. He's getting on a bit, but he's got some quality. Would we be nervous about bringing another old guy into our midfield? Because it's not gone too well for us recently.
Well, I'm in a quiz team with 3 Albion fans, and I'll tell you can't put one foot in front of the other nowadays. But there you go.
Oh, so he's slipped off a bit.
I think he's a little slow. Yes.
Yeah.
He's going to sign for Watford, isn't he?
He's what?
He's going to sign for Watford.
How's he going to Watford? Oh, that counts that out then.
Yeah.
We got the wrong WFC.
That's it. Yeah. Got the wrong one.
He's the thing about him anyway. He's not a creative player anyway, is he? In those.
Well,
terms.
no, I'm just thinking the experience next to Stirk. So I think Stirk has got some great comments about him.
I know.
Is he ready to play a full season? And lead the line, lead the midfield sort of thing, boss the midfield.
If you bring in experience in midfield, you want to bring in somebody more like the lower division equivalent of Vinny Samways.
Vinny Samways,
pass the ball, create a bit as well.
Yeah, well, Vinny Samways, and I don't know whether my memory serves me correctly, but Darren Bradley did well for us in midfield.
He did, yes, he did.
I thought I might have gone crazy, but thanks for confirming that. Oh dear! What's this one with you? We've got Jack's back. Is that better now, Jack?
Yeah, I think I fixed it.
Very good. That's it. We sort of missed you a bit there. Can you tell me what you think we're going to get out of Ram this season?
Ram. It's either going to be an impressive breakthrough season or the setup to an impressive breakthrough season. I'm hoping.
That's very politically correct. That is. He's not sitting there with you, is he?
No. But he's got something about. Yeah, he's done that. I remember. Was it possibly his first bit under Taylor, the Crystal Palace friendly game?
Yeah,
and he was very impressive. I'm amazed Taylor didn't give him more of a chance. I thought he was very, very, very impressive. Last year, not so much. We only saw 15 minutes of him.
Yeah,
which wasn't enough considering what we were going through.
I've had some information about the early pre-season training, and as far as running stats and that sort of stuff, there's 2 players that are topping the tree, and Ram's one of them. Can you guess the other one?
Joe Riley.
No.
Isaac Hutchinson.
Yes, Hutch. The Hutch and Ram, the 2 competing for the cam role, are the top on the stats. I thought it'd be Liam Gordon, but maybe Liam Gordon's joining the squad late because he's been playing with Guyana.
I think on Ram it was a bit of a weird one last season with him, wasn't it? Because Michael Flynn really talked him up, didn't he, at the start of last season? I went to the fans forum and he talked about what a good summer he'd had, how he'd come back in great shape and his attitude was good. And he came on in a couple of games earlier last season, and I thought he did well. There was one game in particular, possibly Barrow away, where he came on quite early, and I thought he made a real difference when he came on. And then he just sort of faded out completely. So, I don't want him to become the next, sort of Sam Perry or Alfie Bate to come in, show a load of promise, and then fade out into nothing. Because I think there's a lot more about him than that. And I think he's got real potential.
I think it's
a lot of
to
the
do with the manager. Yeah.
Sorry, Neil, go on.
I think it's partly to do with the manager because I think he started panicking, especially when he realised DJ was going to get. He tried to revert back to what he knew rather than trying to develop what he got. And I think that's where a lot of our problems lie.
He tried to see it through to the end of the season, didn't he?
Yeah.
Never made it.
If Labadie had been fit, he'd be throwing him every week to get red cards because he goes back to what he knows. And he's going back to what he knows now because the rumour is Labadie's going to Swindon.
Yeah,
thank you. I think he's that type of bloke. He just always revert to what he knows rather than try something untried and different. Yeah.
But hopefully Matt Sadler's going to be a bit more progressive. What do you think, Daz?
Simon, just go back a little bit. I think Flynn did him a massive favour last year in not playing him in the second half of the season. I think I really wanted to see him play to get some time, but bringing him into a team that was so devoid of confidence, so devoid of any kind of idea of what they'll plan, I think there was a risk that you could damage him a little bit in bringing him into that. I think inadvertently, the fact that Flynn clearly needed a result, I suspected at the time, and the fact we sacked him evidenced it. The fact he was reluctant to use him probably did us a huge favour. But going on to your question, Sadler referred to Maya midway through the season. We're talking about how we needed to look after him, and we needed to protect him, and introduce him slowly. And he needs to be good to his word now. He needs to give him some game time without overexposure.
Yeah, I think for me, the perfect situation there is Hutch starts as 70 minutes and then Ram has the last 20. And then if that's going well and Hutch is having a bad game, bring Ram on early. I think that would work.
Thing to that, if we're winning, I don't think it does any good bringing you on 20 minutes left if we're losing. Well, asking the kid to try and turn it round. It's not just game time; it's actually quality game time when we got possession and we're actually give him a chance to actually do his thing.
Yeah, you've got to have more than 5 minutes, haven't you?
Yeah.
But I think Ram has developed quite a lot. I think physically, people think of him as a little tiny lad, but he's a very strong chap. They call him Ram, but I mean he's very solid. He's a very solid young lad. And he's very fit, which I suppose at 18 you'd expect him to be. But there's quite a lot of the youngsters that don't put the effort in, isn't he? And he's definitely doing it the right way, I think.
He's also got a good goal scoring record from midfield. I know, albeit in the youth and the reserve levels, but a good goal scoring midfielder, someone who gets forward and has got an instinct for goal is something that we haven't had for a while.
Yeah, I think regular game time, the goals will come from Ram in the first team.
Yeah, stats don't lie.
Yeah, I used to go to school with someone who was signed by the academy, and he was like 15, 16. They used to play with the academy team, which Ram was in. And he said Ram was the most impressive by far.
Yeah, and we saw some of the Walsall Senior Cup games. The final, particularly against Rushall. It was very clearly men against boys, and Ram sort of held up the Walsall team massively. And in the semi-final, obviously had Sam Perry and Taylor Allen in there, but Ram was the outstanding player for us again in that, as you would expect him to be with a player who's pushing for first team. But it bodes well. But the problem is if we bring in another Cam, does he go down to third choice and then he's not going to get any games again? It's that balance, isn't it?
We need good rotation, don't we? We need a good, clear rotation.
Yeah.
Depending on the fixtures.
It goes back again to what formation we're going to play as well.
Yeah.
If there's a big
Well, if we were going 3-5-2 at the moment, who would be your 3-5-2? We'll go with Jack first. 3-5-2. Give me a back three.
Back three. Daniels, Hussey. I don't want to put McKenty there. Yes, it's the only other one we got.
Now, and the other one's it's a difficult name.
Priestley, yeah, Priestley.
Priestley, Farquharson, which
Hussey, Daniels, and Priestley.
I'm going to call him the priest. I did check with Newport fans. Newport fans haven't really got a nickname for him, so I'm I'm going to call him the priest from now
He's
on.
probably
Obviously,
hoping for
Daniels
Lord
and the
Farquhar.
priest.
Hang on, sorry, go on, Neil.
So he's probably hoping to be called Lord Farquhar.
The Lord. We could call him the Lord. That would work.
The Lord.
The Lord or the priest. I think we'll go with the priest to start with, I think.
Yeah, so Daniels, Hussey, and the priest.
Daniels, Hussey, and the priest. Okay, so that's the back three. Lee, who's your five?
Well, I've gone slightly different here, Simon. I'll go with the back three. Then I want to go with 2 in front of them, then 3 in front of them. So I want to go. I want to go with, to start off with, I want to go with McEntee and Stirk as the 2 in front of them. And then the 3 ahead of them, I would, at the moment, as it stands, I would go Knowles, I would go Hutchinson, and I would go probably DJT. And then DJT, and then the 2 up top, I would go with Matt, and I would go with DJ.
So now Riley.
Not at the moment. Not in that. I'll go 3-2-3-2.
And so we'll give. Are we still there?
Yeah.
We're still there. We just had a bit of a flash of no connection just for a moment there. So that 5 in the midfield is a wide open one, isn't it? That could be.
It is.
Because we keep forgetting Liam Gordon. I think Liam Gordon last season, I don't think he really fulfilled his potential. I know he had the injury at the start of the season.
He finished it very well.
Yeah, I think we'll see a real good player in Liam Gordon this season. I think we don't underestimate how serious that injury was. He had at the start of the season. I think, if I understand it correctly, he nearly lost his foot. It was that bad. I think they were talking about. I think with a full pre-season behind him, and hopefully he'll stay injury free. I think you'll see a real good. I like him. I know he blew hot and cold a little bit last season, but I think he's a good player, and I think he'll be. I think we'll see a real good player in him this season.
And of course, we haven't seen Riley fit yet.
Yeah.
No.
The other thing, Simon, is, and I think Sadler's already sort of said this, that he wants to play a more high tempo, high pressing game from start to finish. And I think also this season again, you can use the 5 subs out of the 7. Now, I'm not saying every game he's going to have to use the 5 subs, but I think that could be to our advantage in certain games. Because, like you just mentioned, Liam Gordon, Riley, Hutchinson, Ram, DJT, you can go and let them go full tilt for 65, 70 minutes, and the quality you've got on the bench to come off for that last 20, 25 minutes. If Sadler really wants to keep that tempo high for the full 90, 95 minutes, he's got the players to do that now, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think that's a good point, actually.
Where Flynn last season, some of the games, he was struggling to. Well, he got to the point where he had to make 3 or 4 changes because he was that upset with the starting 11, but he didn't really want to make them changes. If you look at some of the games, he didn't want to make the subs. Where I think this season Sadler will make the subs, but he'll make the subs in a more positive manner, where he wants to keep the tempo high and keep going at the opposition.
Yeah.
I think there's another thing that might be key to all this as well, because we talked about the back three if we go for a back 3, but you also got whoever we play there, there's going to be 3 footballers. They ain't going to be footballers. They're going to want to play the ball out through the midfield, and that's going to up the tempo straight away. Because whichever the 3 of the 4 play there, if you include McEntee, they can all play football. They all like to pass the ball.
That's it. I think. Sorry, go on.
We averaged one of the worst. I think we had at one point just before Finn left, we had the worst percentage of possession at home in the league.
Yeah.
So that was just, we just used to give back to them.
Yeah. it's something that's definitely needs to improve. I think Flynn will always talk about sort of, oh, we only lost a couple of games at home and that sort of thing. But we want to see more quality and want to see more entertainment at home, don't we?
No, we want to win.
We want to win. We want to win. We want to see. Want to be entertained.
Quality comes afterwards. Yeah. Win first.
So, if we bought in some wingers now, would they get a game?
Again, I think it would depend on the formation. I think it would be good to have some wide players as options if he did decide to go 4-4-2 or even more to a 4-3-3. You definitely need wide options in the squad. I look at what we've got at the moment. Obviously, we've already mentioned Knowles can do a job wide right. If you look at the left-hand side at the moment, and obviously we've got Liam Gordon and Taylor Allen as a possible option further forward on the left. But I'd want more options and other options than that at this stage if we are going to move to a 4-4-2.
Yeah, 4-4-2 is perhaps we're not that well set up for that.
Yeah,
I think we definitely got a strong defence. It's just whether we can create the chances up front. So, is it fairly obvious who the front two are, Neil?
No, I can't imagine. They could be quite deadly, those two up front together. You know, they really could.
Yeah. Yeah, Matt and DJ. DJ knows how to finish. Matt's a wily old fox, isn't he? He can create opportunities.
I'm trying to remember the last time we had somebody up front, number 9, who could get the ball and hold it up for others as well.
Yeah.
Going back a very long way before we had a really good one doing that.
And we don't normally keep them for long. It's nice that we got people on contracts for a change.
Yeah.
We normally have a good season and then they all get pulled away. And I think a short time ago, people were saying Travella, they're now better than Bonsa. And I'm like, hang on. It's like you have no idea. You have no idea the difference. Yes, the performance on the pitch and our position in the league may be not significantly different, or it's not significantly different. Yeah. But I mean, for me, it's clear there's a big step change, and Walsall are definitely heading on a more positive trajectory.
Yeah. Well,
I'll tell you what the difference is. Trevella might be treating us as customers, and they will treat us like customers, but they'll treat us well as customers. Having been banned from the ground by Mr. Bonser on one occasion, having a long chat to him afterwards, Bonser thought the supporters were a bloody nuisance and he wished he didn't have to bother welling them through the gates. He didn't understand them. He didn't understand the financial commitment and the emotional commitment that actually supporters make to the team, and he thought the club was almost none of our business. This is a world of difference.
Yeah.
I think the signing of Danny Johnson as well. I mean, you were talking earlier on about budgets, and I mean, I again, a lot of guesswork in terms of what players exactly what they earn. What I do know is that Danny Johnson won't have come cheap. I know we haven't had to pay a fee for him, but wages wise, he's going to be right up there as far as League Two strikers are concerned. There will have been other clubs interested after his
definitely
goal scoring record for us last year. So I think that shows that they're, maybe they are just pushing the boat out a little bit more on certain players.
I think Daniel shows that as well. The contract extension. I'd have thought he'd have been in great demand as well.
Yeah. I think Danny Johnson, from the comments that he made, one of the main reasons he's come back is how much people loved him. He really the fans really loved him. Obviously, he was scoring lots of goals, so that helps. But I mean, he sort of got a great reputation and great love from the fan base. And if there's anything that's going to make you do better as a striker, it's knowing that you're loved and people want you.
I just can't get over the smile on his face on the publicity photos. I don't think I've ever seen a football look happier.
Well, the thing is, he's got his contract for a couple of years. Nice, can settle down and all that business. It's good. We do still have a few that are sort of not quite crossed over yet. Ozzy, I'm not getting the hype at the moment. We still have the same problem now that we did last season. We don't have anyone in midfield carrying the ball forward. We need Adam Chambers, Sam Manton. I think Ryan Stirk is that guy, isn't he?
I thought he was, yes.
And
that was the point.
And if McKenty is playing in midfield, I think McKenty's perhaps capable of that as well.
I'll tell you the other thing as well, Simon, which may help Walsall towards the end of the season. At the moment, there's absolutely no need to rush Jack Earing back from his injury. With that midfield we got at the moment, I think to a certain extent, Flint had to try and get Wilco back on the pitch as soon as possible.
Oh, yeah.
I think even to a certain extent, when we was on that bit of a sticky run, he wanted Labadie back on the field because, like I think it was Neil who said earlier, he went back to his old ways and he wanted his own general back on the field. I think with Matt Sadler this season, I think Jack Earing can have as much time as he needs to get himself fully fit, and then they can reintroduce him. So I think, depending on how long it takes him to get over his injury, if it's like the new year, it's the new year, or if it's later, it's later. I don't think there'll be any rush to get him back. And then I think that would also be a little bit of a boost for Walsall, because then you got that additional sort of creative midfielder coming back when probably at the time of the year we'll probably need one.
Yeah, I think Earing, a fully fit Earing, is that box-to-box midfielder who plays a good defensive role and knows how to go forward and create chances as well.
Yeah.
So he's be a great guy to have back to the team. Where are we going to finish next season?
Oh,
last season, I thought anywhere in the top half will do. If we make top 7, I'll be overjoyed. I think before I go to you, when Danny Johnson was with us, we were around about 8th, and
3 points off.
Stronger squad, but I mean it is a very tough division with County. Notts County and Wrexham, of course. I don't know whether you've heard Wrexham have got promoted. I know that's been in the news. So first of all, I'll go to Neil. Where do you think we'll finish next season?
7th.
7th?
I think we'll sneak in.
You'll think we'll sneak in? Phil?
I was thinking about this earlier because I thought you might ask me. There's probably a realistic voice in my head saying we probably won't get in the playoffs, because I know that, there's, Wrexham, Notts County, MK Dons, Bradford, Salford, you'd expect them to be up there. But on the other side of the coin, who had Stevenage in the top 3 last year? Who had Carlisle going up out the playoffs? And in previous seasons, who had Morecambe going up? Who had Cambridge going up? Not many people. So it can be done. I think if we get off to a good start, I would hope to see us in and around the playoff frame. Where we'll finish? 9th. There you go.
9th. You're going for 9th.
But I hope I'm wrong. Again, I hope I'm wrong.
Okay, now that's good. That's conservative. That's it. Darren, what do you think, Daz?
I think there's still some more players to come in, and I think we'll have a better view when the additional players come in. Right at this moment in time, I think top 8 is achievable. Bottom 8 is achievable as well, obviously. But given what they've signed, you'd be disappointed if we weren't in the top half of the table.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. Lee?
I say every year, Simon, win the league. You got to start the season and think you're going to. No, but listen, you got to start the season and think you're going to win the league. What's the point of saying, 8th or 9th? As a player in that dressing room, right, you start saying, if we finish 8th or 9th, that's a good season, right? That's not the dressing room I want to hear. I want to hear them going, we're going to win the league. And then if you miss out and you come 2nd or 3rd, it's not a hardship, is it?
I think the aim is to win the league, but I think just from our point of view, I think where we think we'll probably end up.
Yeah. Well, we've been struggling the last few seasons to get more than 12 wins. So anything over 12 wins would be a bonus. But realistically, you want to be in that top 7, you got to get 19, 20 wins.
Yeah.
And you got to be looking at around about the 75-point mark.
Yeah. I think
being realistic, with Sadler in his first season, anything over 60 points would be a decent season compared to what we've had for the last 4 or 5 seasons.
Yeah.
But like Daz has already said, I still don't think they're finished with the business. I don't think there'll be loads coming in, but I still think there'll be probably another 3, maybe 4 come in. And depending on what sort of players they are, I can't see us being scared of anybody in the league. I know Wrexham and Notts County and Bradford are going to be there or thereabouts, but I don't think we have to go and play them teams and be thinking we're on a hiding to nothing here. I think when Sadler's got his full squad together, I think we'll give anybody a game. And then it just comes down to a little bit of luck with the way referees call the game, a little bit of luck with injuries. And, in sport, you get on a bit of a run and momentum, and that team spirit can take you a long way. So why can't we have a go?
I see we've got quite a tough start, haven't we? With a 3rd game in away to Wrexham.
But again, Simon, you say we've got a tough start, which is a tough start. But if we come through that and we're sort of got 8, 9 points on the table, then we're off and running, aren't we?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Jack, what do you think? Where do you think we'll finish, Jack? We want to finish top, obviously. But
the dream is to finish top, and the dream is to finish above Wrexham. That's the dream. That's the Hollywood dream for us. We're
above Wrexham at the minute, alphabetically. That's it.
That's just luck. That's it's lucky we're not bottom. I think we'll finish. I think we'll finish 8th. I think it'll be one of them where we have a bad spell over Christmas and then come back second half of the season after a good start. We finish 8th, like 2 points off the playoffs or something.
To be honest, I think sort of, from my point of view, before this last week with DJ and DJT coming in, I was nervous that we were going to be struggling again. But with the arrival of DJ, that tells me that we're in for a top half finish. Yeah. And top 10, and see where it goes from there.
Yeah. Just going back,
ourselves promoted, obviously, with the squad. They're pretty much all signed up for next season, for the season after as well. So that if we don't do it this season, next season should be a much stronger one as well. Yeah. So
I haven't gone through 3 series of Ted Lasso without knowing the only thing that matters is a big sign up there that says "Believe."
Believe, that's it. The joy is returning.
Simon, just going back to one thing you said there about the start we've got, and I think we have got some tough games early on. Obviously Morecambe away, not sure about that one, but then Stockport at home, Wrexham away in consecutive games does look tough on paper. But I just hope that if we do have a bit of a tough start and we do drop a few games early on, that it doesn't get too silly down there, too toxic down there, because I know that there is an element of the support that I've seen some of the stuff being said about Sadler being the cheap option and this, that, and the other. I just hope that he's given fair chance to build something next season and prove himself, because I just worry that if we do have a bad start to next season, that it might get a little bit toxic down there a bit early, and I think that would be a real shame, because they've gone with Sadler, and whatever we think of the appointment, we've got to back the bloke and we've got to get behind him, and we've got to give him fair chance to build something next season.
I think I'd rather have him than somebody who's on the managerial merry-go-round yet again. Somebody who's failed 14,000 different times at different foot clubs, and we want him because we know the name. It doesn't mean they're any good. You think just because you know the name.
Well, on one of our previous fan chats, I think it was Daz that was very vocal on it. Why don't we tell a manager what we want to do?
Yeah.
Tell a manager, this is the way we want to play. We want a manager who can do this, not who's available, bring him in, and then let him take over and do whatever he likes.
Because then if it goes wrong, I've said it before, if it goes wrong then, you get rid of that one and you bring another one in. Who wants to do it his way? So you've got to do it. Now you bring in another one and one does it the way you wanted to do it and he tries his stand doing it the way you want it done. It's the only way to do it properly.
Yeah. And that's they obviously listened to you, Daz, so that was good.
Decide what you want to do, then get somebody in who can roll out
do it,
what you want to do. Not jump onto the latest fashion. Doesn't work.
That's it. The big fail to plan. You plan to fail.
Sorry, Simon. Just another one I think as well this season, and obviously time will tell on this. I don't think we'll get bit as much as we did last season on loans. Number one, and number two. Again, time will tell if this is right or wrong. I don't think we'll have a January transfer window like we have done for the last 3 or 4 years, because I think the shift in the way Saddler's going about his business and the way Trivella are going about their business, I'll be very surprised if come January we have a duff January again. And I also think we won't get into the situation where if we do have a loan,
that
will end up missing.
Yeah,
I think the one good thing about Trivella is they are looking and they are learning, and they might be learning on the job, as to say. But I think they're very fast and very acute when it comes to things like this. And I don't think we'll ever get into the situation like we did with Bennett and DJ in the loan. And I don't think we'll have a January transfer window where it was just like throw something up against the wall and let's see what sticks.
Yeah, I think the big difference with Trivella for me is people aren't going to just take our players for pennies anymore. We're not forced to sell. So if we have a player that does particularly well, they don't just get taken away for peanuts. Yeah. We've got the financial stability to be able to hold on to the players we want to keep.
They might still go, but we for a decent whack. Let's put it that way.
Well, that's it.
If
they give us good money, then fair enough. Yeah. Playoffs has to be the aim. Is a comment from Edward Atkins, and I think that sums it up really. Playoffs is the aim. If we finish top of the league, then that'll be excellent. But it's a good start.
50 points. 50 points is always the first aim. Get to 50 points, and then see how many games you got to get to 72. And then when you get to 72, see how many you can get to 85. And that has to be the way it works.
Darren's got a plan, haven't you?
Always 50 points first.
It's like partnerships in cricket.
Yeah.
Find out how many you can get there. Do it in steps. Yeah.
Could have done with a few of them.
Yeah, we still.
Right then, I think we'll leave it there. That's been really good. Thanks, guys, for coming on.
Just add one thing before you go.
Go on.
After the sad news about Wayne Evans, I'll put something on the Facebook page for a crowdfunding thing they're doing to try and bring his body back home because the family can't afford to do it. And Trust are actually participating in that as well. So go and have a look at it and contribute if you can.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth there, Neil. I was going to mention about Wayne Evans. A
wonderful player. Yeah.
One of my favourites, and real sad news when that came through yesterday.
At such a young age, 51. It's no age really.
Yeah.
Well, I had my heart attack at 50, but we won't go into that.
Went and scouted his brother and signed him instead. True story.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
I went to scout his brother, and they changed their mind and took him instead.
And he nearly got his Welsh cap as well, didn't he? He was good. Was he injured in the last game before when he got caught up? Couldn't go.
Right then. Okay. Yeah. I say thanks for coming on.
Sorry to finish it on a sad note, but there you go.
No. I think I'm glad you mentioned it, Neil. It was sort of in my mind, but it's sort of what it's like. You get old, you forget stuff.
Yeah. I definitely know what that's like.
We'll try and do these more often, and let's positive start to the season. Let's upset Wrexham at their place, and
oh yes, please.
Stockport will be without Kyle Wootton because he'll be injured. He'll miss the start of the season. So it's a good time to play them. Morecambe, I think.
It's a tough one.
The Morecambe fans seem to think that they're going to be right down the bottom. So maybe that could be a positive start for us. But we'll see. But as always, thanks everybody for watching. Thanks everybody for listening. We're live on the TalkSport network now. So you've got the podcasts to catch up and listen. The joy and the pain. Is the joy returning? What do you reckon?
Hopefully.
Cheers, guys.
Just
Thanks.
believe.
Thanks.
Again, Neil.
Just believe.
Just believe. The joy is returning. Champion. Cheers.